What's good, YouTube? We're back in another video, and today we're going to be talking about the NBA draft, which just fully commenced. But today we're going to be going over the top 10 draft picks of this draft, giving them each a letter grade, and then at the end we're going to be talking about the winners and losers of this draft class. And honestly, bro, with this draft as being one of those where you just thought a ton of trades were going to go down, surprisingly, none really did. But that doesn't mean that this draft wasn't any bit less surprising, because there were a bunch of shockers in here. There were clear winners, and there were clear losers who made horrible decisions in this top 10. We're going to be going over every single one of the top 10 picks. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Coming in with the number 1 pick, the Dallas Mavericks select Flagg, which honestly was no surprise by any means. What was a surprise was Dallas somehow getting the first overall pick with only 1.8% odds. It seems absolutely rigged, and if you ask me, it probably is. Because ain't no way, bro. Nico Harrison got bailed out like crazy. Landed this top 3 prospect of the 21st century. Absolutely insane, bro. If you like, this is the one thing where I'm like, damn, bro, the league might be rigged. But I mean, come on, dude. Flagg, he's gonna come in there in the Dallas Mavericks and immediately bring an offensive presence, but mostly he's gonna have a defensive presence on a team that really values defense. I mean, you already saw Nico Harrison talking about defense wins championships. That's what got Anthony Davis in the first place. Complimentary piece to that, Flagg, absolutely incredible front court duo. Wonder how they're going to work it out with all those bigs already there, like Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. But this team is going to be absolutely insane. And I think if Kyrie Irving comes back by the playoffs, they really could be a dark horse title contender. I don't think it's any bit of a shock to anyone for me to say that. Dallas is legit, and damn, Nico got bailed out. That pick is going to get an immediate A+. Next up, what we're going to be talking about is the San Antonio Spurs picking Dylan Harper. And bro, the Spurs can't keep getting away with this, bro. They can't keep getting away with this. 2 years ago, these guys got Victor Wembanyama, this generational prospect, the most highly touted prospect since LeBron, gets a Rookie of the Year, obviously. Next season, they get Stephon Castle, another Rookie of the Year, back-to-back Rookie of the Years. They trade for De'Aaron Fox, an absolute stud, and now they're hit with the second overall pick. And not to mention, bro, I think the San Antonio Spurs, as well as the Dallas Mavericks, obviously, but the San Antonio Spurs are the biggest winners of this draft. Because think about it, they got Dylan Harper, who, bro, they have a ton of guards. I get it. They're going to be able to work it out, though. I'm a firm believer in the draft, you have to pick the best available rather than best fit. Just ask the Warriors the same thing, bro. They'll tell you. They regret picking James Wiseman. Insane. They passed up on LaMelo. Anyways, Dylan Harper was the guy to pick here, and I'm going to give this an immediate A grade. And on top of that, bro, we're going to talk about this because this isn't in the top 10, but them picking Carter Bryant at 14th is an absolute steal. I didn't expect him to fall that low, but the fact that he did, dude, Carter Bryant is going to be an absolute stud. He's a great forward. And they got Dylan Harper, who's just going to be such a good piece to match alongside Wembanyama. I mean, coming in from Rutgers, he averaged 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And he's honestly just the type of guard that you want to have around a guy like Wemby. And then teaming up with, bro, this Spurs team is just so stacked, but they can't keep getting away with this. They're the winners of this draft. Them and the Mavericks. I can't even lie. Next up, this is where I really expected a trade to take place. I thought that there was probably going to be a salary dump going on here with the Paul George situation. Ended up not being that. And on top of that, there was a bunch of drama going on with Ace Bailey. We'll get into that later down. But VJ Edgecombe at the number 3 spot. And I like this pick a lot to match up with Tyrese Maxey out in Philly. And then you also have Jared McCain up in there. So, I mean, even if he wants to come off the bench and play more of a 6-man role, VJ Edgecombe is going to be a great player in this league. I'm super high on VJ. I'm going to give it an A-. I think it's a really good pick. This next one from the Charlotte Hornets, bro, I don't know how I'm feeling about this, man. They went ahead and picked Knueppel. I'm going to give this a B+. And I'm kind of giving it, like, the benefit of the doubt here. Like, I do understand the fit between him and LaMelo and Brandon Miller, that being super nice, but I just don't know if this guy was worth picking number 4 overall. I feel like if they traded down, they still would have been able to get him. I think he's going to be an absolute great fit, though. I mean, he's 6'7". Chill. And he's just a really good shooter. He shot 47% from the field and 40% from 3 in college, which is absolutely insane. He's an absolute sniper. And I think he is lacking a bit defensively, but I mean, with that length, that's something you can always work on to make him polish that side of his game, maybe become more of a 3-and-D guy. But I don't know, dude. I feel like there was talks about Washington trading up to the 4th pick and then them picking it at 6th. I think they still could have got him over there. So I am going to give it a B+ because I do like the fit. I just don't know if this was the right pick to make at 4. I feel like they could have traded down. I don't know. I like it, though. I like the fit. I'm going to give it a B+. Next up, the Utah Jazz did the funniest thing you could do, bro. The Utah Jazz were not taking no for an answer. Ace Bailey intentionally tried everything in his power to avoid Charlotte and avoid the Jazz. He didn't work out with a single team. Not one. He didn't interview with a single team. His agent, there's rumors that he told his agent specifically to call the Jazz, or I mean, it was just to call a team in general. We don't know who it is, probably the Jazz, and tell him, yo, don't pick me. I don't want to play here. Jazz ended up picking him anyways. So, Ace Bailey, welcome to rotting away in Utah. Dude, I mean, I like the pick, though, because I don't care what the player says. It is a team's job to pick the player. And if they don't like where they ended up, dude, just focus on basketball, like how Ace Bailey kept saying throughout the night, bro. I swear this guy said focus on basketball at least 8 times on that broadcast. Just focus on basketball, become a better player, make your team better. At the end of the day, you are going to have to be that foundational piece. This is a guy who could have easily gone 3rd overall. He could have even gone 2nd overall, bro. He's a guy who has that type of upside. I mean, look at his stats. 17 points per game on 7 rebounds. And, I mean, he don't really be passing the ball much. I ain't going to lie. He'd be like Michael Porter Jr. out here. But he does have a ton of upside. He's more like he kind of reminds me of what happened with the Shedeur Sanders situation. But as it was kind of as if, like, the teams just didn't care and picked Shedeur anyways, which ain't what happened. But there you go, man. Utah Jazz, Ace Bailey. I'm going to give it an A- because regardless, the Jazz are supposed to pick the best available player. I don't care what the player says. I'm going to give the Jazz an A- because you got to think about it from a team perspective. This is the best choice they could have made. Utah desperately needs a guy to build around. I mean, they still have Laurie. They have Walker Kessler. But, I mean, those aren't the type of guys that have star upside. Ace Bailey does. So, man, A-. Next up, we got Washington taking Trey Johnson. And I think that this is a great pick. I'm going to give this an A. Because Trey Johnson is the type of guy who, I know he's a bit undersized, but he still averaged 20 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. I mean, it's solid numbers. It ain't bad at all. And he's obviously good on the offensive end. And Washington kind of needed that replacement for Jordan Poole. I mean, I think they kind of knew they were going to get Trey Johnson at 6 regardless, which is why they did that Jordan Poole trade. So, hope Jordan Poole likes it with the Pelicans, because I ain't going to lie, they did not cook this draft. But I'm going to give Trey Johnson going to Washington a B+. I like this pick. An A. I'm going to give it an A. I like this pick more than a B+. I'm going to rock with an A. Next up, this is the team who did not cook. This is a team who tried. They tried hard. A little too hard, bro. Look, when this guy Jermiah Fears got drafted to the Pelicans at 7, I never have seen that much glaze come out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth. This guy was saying he's going to be the second coming of Kyrie Irving. I don't know about that, dude. I mean, it's a possibility. He's an absolute star. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know about this pick, man. He just isn't a good fit with the team that you already have. And usually I'm not a guy that cares too much about fit, because I say, okay, take the best available. However, they did something. They were probably already planning it by this point in this draft, where they traded their next year's pick unprotected to the Atlanta Hawks, which very well could be a top 10, top 5 pick next year. But this is a team that barely won 20 games. And they're confident enough to making the playoffs next year? I mean, I know your team was injured, but they've been injured the past 5 years. Do you really expect that to change all of a sudden? So they get Jermiah Fears, right? Who's obviously not going to help too much with winning now, because he's a terrible fit. He can't shoot the ball very well, and that's a terrible fit around a guy like Zion Williamson. What's his name? DeJounte Murray. That's not a great fit. You need a guy who's going to shoot the ball. Then what they do on top of that is, with the 13th pick, they trade up from 23 to 13. They trade up 10 spots up to get Derek Queen. And I personally really like Derek Queen. I was surprised he fell down that far, to be honest. I really like Derek Queen. But do I think Derek Queen turns this team with Jermiah Fears into a playoff team? No, I do not. And it's insane. They traded their draft pick for next year, which is the best between Milwaukee, which Giannis very well could leave. Bro, this is such a good pick, and they just gave it up. I don't know what, bro. I don't know what they were doing. The Pelicans did not cook, and these guys are clear losers of the NBA draft. Next up, we got another team that took a fat L. Coming in out of Russia, the Nets pick Egor Denim. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. I ain't never heard of this guy much. But let me tell you, there's probably a reason for it. I'm going to give it a C-. Okay? Look, they had so many picks in this draft. They had 5 first-round picks. I guarantee they could have got him lower. I guarantee you they could have picked this guy lower, bro. Especially when you're considering there's guys like Derek Queen and Khaman Maluach still available. They decide to go with Egor Denim. And not to mention, these guys pick 5 guards. If you're going to not trade your picks, they could have traded them for so much value maybe in next year's draft. I mean, they don't even have their 2027 pick. So they could have traded for some sort of, draft picks for that year. They didn't. They ended up with drafting 5 guards in the first round. And I don't even know if Egor Denim was the right guy to pick at 8. They could have gotten someone better for sure. I'm going to give this a C-. And then with the rest of the draft, these guys are absolute losers of the NBA draft. Not a fan. Nets, what were you thinking? Next up, we got the Raptors selecting Colin Murray-Boyles. And I think this is a solid pick. I'm going to give it a B. Now, he's not the type of guy who's going to be an absolute stud offensively, but he does provide big upside defensively. And that's what the Raptors really need. I'm not going to lie. So I think he's a great fit. And I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a Draymond Green-esque player. I'm not saying he's going to be Draymond Green or anything, but he has that type of toughness and physicality. And I think that's going to be really good for Raptors team who's trying to build a culture out there. And they really do well with these type of guys who just seem like defensive pieces, but they actually build well with them over time. Similar to like Scotty Barnes, he seemed like he was going to be just a defensive player. He ended up having an offensive bag. So I think we could potentially see something similar happen with Colin. But we're just going to have to see. I like this pick, though. I'm going to give it a B. Next up, the Phoenix Suns selected Khaman Maluach with the 10th pick that they got from the Houston Rockets in the Kevin Durant trade. And I'm going to give it an A-. I really like this trade. I personally think that this was the best move that the Phoenix Suns could have made. I could even give this an A because they tremendously needed a center. They also happened to trade for Mark Williams like right when this pick happened, which I don't understand. Like, you already just got a center, and then you go out of your way and trade your 2029 first-round pick when you're a team that is the Phoenix. Bro, you're the Phoenix Buns at the moment, and you don't know if you're going to be good 2 years from now. That could even be a freaking top 5 pick. What is Mark Williams good at anyways? What is Mark Williams going to do that your team already can't do? He's injury-prone. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense to me, but I really like this pick from the Suns. Just aside from that trade, I think that's a terrible trade. I like this pick from the Suns. They shouldn't be giving up the 2029 first-round pick, though. But Khaman Maluach is a guy that's going to bring hustle. You saw what he did at Duke. He's just a great glue guy, too. Great personality. Super just team-orientated player. He's going to bring that toughness, rebounding. And I think that's what the Suns desperately needed. I mean, Nick Richards was a starting center for the last year, bro. Who? I think Khaman Maluach is a great pick, and I'm going to give it an A-, potentially even an A. I like it. But that's going to be all for today's video. I mean, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. If you're still here, just know I appreciate you. Let me know down below, who do you think is the winners and losers of the draft? Me personally, just to give it a summary, I have the Dallas Mavericks obviously as winners. I think the Spurs absolutely cooked this draft class, and I'm genuinely terrified as a Rockets fan because they're going to be a big problem coming soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a crazy run within the next few years. The losers of the draft, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Brooklyn Nets. What were you thinking? You guys did not cook. But like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Take care.